Hi, everybody. This is J.A. Dava with Latreia Coaching and Consulting. Welcome to the very first podcast of Latreia. Again, my name is J.A. Dava. I'm one of the senior coaches here, as well as my business partner, Paul Waldrop. I'll let him introduce himself, but he is also not only a partner, a friend, but he is also one of the senior coaches here. Paul, welcome to our very first podcast.
I know, so exciting, Jay. We've been talking about it, but it's now game time, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, and when we started thinking about podcasts, there's 1,000 of them out there, really, right? So many you can choose from. Some are like, I've listened to 2 this morning, and it's like, man, that's pretty heavy when you're talking about capital markets and getting into economics. But at the end of the day, I think you and I talked about wanting to make sure that we brought value, something to think about. Really, what we want is to create light bulb moments where people walk away thinking just a little bit differently and something that they can do, just taking one step. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It just means take a step in the right direction. That can make all the difference in the world. And really, that's at the heartbeat of why we created Latreia, is taking a step in the right direction to make huge improvements in your business, but to us, more importantly, in your life.
Yeah, it's about coaching. I mean, and that's, we feel a calling for that, by the way. And so we're passionate about it. And I hope you will understand our hearts and where we're coming from at the end of this time. Again, this is our first one. And in between us sits an incredible guy by the name of Dante Rosa. And I can't wait for him to be sharing with you guys really what today's topic is all about. And today's topic, episode number 1 of Latreia podcast, is really why coaching. And it's, there's a lot of people that get trained out there, and there's a lot of people that get coached. And so without further ado, honestly, I'd like to bring you, Dante, to the front right now. And I'd like for you to just take a second. First of all, introduce yourself and who you are. And it's such a pleasure to have you on our very first podcast.
Thank you. Guys, I'm so honored. I remember when Latreia was actually just in your mind, and it was a calling. And so my name is Dante Rosa, and I am a mortgage lender for 30 years. I've ran operations all over the country. Now, for the last 5 years, I've had the honor to start my own mortgage brokerage, Dante Rosa Home Loans, located right here in Michigan and licensed also in Florida. And just love the mortgage industry. It's something that chose me back in my 20s. And here I am 30 years later, and I'm a proud husband, and I have 2 beautiful children, and I'm so honored to call J.A. a friend of mine for over 20 years. And here I am. I get to be the honor to be right in between you 2 guys. So thank you so much. And once again, I'm honored to be here, and I hope that I can add some substance and value to what we're trying to accomplish today.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you again for being here, Dante. And Paul, I am so honored right now, seriously, to have, number 1, the very first podcast. And honestly, based on the response that we're getting out there, even in the social media world, and just people that are so supportive, it's been humbling, hasn't it, Paul?
It has. We're in a time and in a season where there's a lot of noise, and bringing clarity to your direction, to your steps, just charting a path really is at the heart of what coaching is all about. And I know in just talking to Dante in advance in preparation for this podcast, he has some beautiful thoughts, things that I didn't think about that coaching really brings to the table, but we've all benefited from it, whether we realize it or not. And once we bring clarity to the whole concept of coaching, I think it's going to make a huge difference, really, in the whole concept and why it's so valuable, really, where it's a non-negotiable. And Dante, I know when we were talking in advance, you talked about that it's a non-negotiable. Being coached and being a coach is a huge thing. It's a privilege, but also it's been transformational.
Absolutely. If I may, there's no greater opportunity to be a coach but also to allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to understand that everyone needs coaching. It is just that it's enlightening in itself. And it took me quite a while to allow me to surrender to my coaching team that oversees me. So, coaching, in my opinion, is a non negotiable. It's very easy to say, I don't need a coach. It's very easy to say, I can do this all on my own. But you can't argue with the fact that the greatest athletes in the world, or even just really good athletes, or people who want to get better, all have coaches. And that's why I always believe in no matter what you do, no matter what industry you work in, and no matter what sport you play, coaching, especially if it's the right coach. Okay, and don't get me wrong, not all coaches should be coaches, and not all coaches are right for you. So I've had several coaches over my 30-year career, and I'd have to say it took me 24 years to finally find the right one that resonates with me and aligns with my values. And more importantly, that was patient enough to wait for me to become vulnerable enough to surrender, to understand that they do truly have my best interest. And once I realized that, it just got so much easier to find my vision, follow, and just work. So coaching is a non-negotiable, but it's really important that we understand that the right coach is really what we're all looking for. So I hope that
So interestingly enough, I know that, I've known you for quite some time, and part of that is that you always knew that coaching was the way to go, right? You always knew, and you were a believer in it right away, or did you kind of wonder, do I really need a coach? And because that question resonates with everybody that's listening to this thing. Why exactly do I need this in my so-called vocation, right? In my so-called profession? Why did you feel you needed to do that, Dante?
I think a lot of it has to do with when you're a child, anything you wanted to do, you had to have a coach. And a lot of times we get that ingrained that coaching is only when you're young and you're trying to play sports. And when we become adults, just like as we try and move away from our parents, even though we finally realize much later in life how important they are and were, but we spend our lives going, oh, that's childish to have a coach, so I don't need a coach. And then later on in life, and it took me many years to realize that coaching is really a partnership. It's an accountability. And so for me, it's something that I always knew was important, but because of a lot of the coaches that were out there that I subscribed to, they didn't really resonate with me. And therefore, I kind of shut them down. Even though I look back now, there really is nothing you can't learn, even from a good coach or a bad coach or a good manager or a poor manager or boss or not. There's everything you can learn in life. But coaching, as I'll tell my children, as I'll tell anybody that works for me, I'm a coach myself through the Dale Carnegie system, which I absolutely love and adore, but I'm not a coach in mortgages. I'm still learning that 30 years, and I'm still learning how to be a better leader. So that's why I subscribe to people such as my coaching team, such as Latrea. You guys are the ones who said, we are going to give up what we've got so that we can help others be the best version of themselves that they can be. And guys, I'm telling you, what you're doing, what the coaches who truly do make a difference, whether it be in sports or in the vocation, you guys are giving up of yourselves so that others can be the best version of themselves that they can be. And I'm telling you, we appreciate that. And it's an honor to share that with other people who may be listening today.
Yeah. So Dante, thank you so much for just reflecting on that. I want to ask a question that's probably on a lot of people's minds. Okay. This is a little bit of a curveball. We didn't talk about it in advance, but you've got a mentor and you've got a coach, and they're not the same thing. One of the things that you mentioned of the value of a coach is accountability and that consistency in the relationship. But could you parse out just a little bit more, maybe the differences that you see between a mentor and a coach?
Yeah, I mean, my mentor will always be, and my father. And I didn't learn this until later in life that, he was my mentor and is my mentor, still 88 years old. And he's just showing me the strength that one can have it no matter what level of raising a family, whether it be working, all day and all night just to raise your family. So a mentor to me is so important as a guide. But then my coach, who actually is also a mentor of mine as well, he not only guides me, he doesn't only show me what's possible, but he also is patient with me and teaches me and then shares with me and then holds me accountable. There's a partnership that I have. And that was one of the greatest things of coaching. It wasn't, every coaching is different. There's so many, especially in the mortgage and real estate world. And I subscribe to so many of them. But the one that I'm so honored to have now in my coaching is, he is a mentor of mine. He's also a friend. He's also my coach who holds me accountable, doesn't let me just get away with things. He says, okay, now let's do the work. That's always the one thing that is always that joke of 6 years is you just got to do the work. And I would always, I don't want to do the work. I just want it to come to me. Can I just pay you and you make me rich or make me successful? And one of the greatest things about having a mentor is one to see that they've done the work and they are living that life that you want. But at the same time, they're also coming back to get you and bringing you on your journey. So I get to see both. I get to see that he's already done the work and the beautiful family and success and the life that he gets. And yet at the same sense, he's giving all of himself, just like you guys are doing, so that he can come back and get me and walk with me through my own journey. And a lot of coaches are push, 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 but the great mentor coaches, the great leaders are the ones that get there and then turn back around and reach back to you to help pull you up on your journey as opposed to just pushing you. So I hope that answers it. But
you know what? What's interesting about what you were just saying is that I'm thinking, especially because being our guest, that this is a professional coach, a vocational coach, but you're talking family. You even, your greatest hero being your dad. I mean, that's family. And I think you said it to us that you found family within the coaching community of
yes,
their family to you. So are you telling me that from a coaching perspective, your experience, that the expectation should be more than just the vocational and professional side of it? And
absolutely.
does it go beyond that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it goes well beyond that. In reality, and I've done research on Latreia and what you guys are doing, and I'm telling you, coaching is more than just about vocation. Coaching, what I have learned, and this is why I truly believe in my coaching community, is that it's family, because we're helping each other, we're picking each other up when we fall down, we're pushing, we're pulling, we're here to support each other, we're building a community that is not just a one-on-one coach who tells me what to do, and if I do it, great, if I don't, I don't, but either way I just pay. No, the great coaches are the ones who, your successes are theirs and your losses are theirs as well. And what's incredible, if it's the right coaching community, it goes beyond the coaches. It goes to the other members. I have friends all over this country who we share with each other our victories and our losses. And we also mourn each other's family and the losses of them, because we know that it's more than just business. It's more than just money. It's about family. It's about, how are you having challenges with this in your life, whether it be, you need to get deep, whether it be raising children, whether it be, how are you handling working so much and your family being here while you're trying to raise this family? How are you balancing your life, and how might I be able to assist with that. It's not about, hey, look at this guy's doing this. How come you're not doing that? It's, hey, look at what this guy's doing. And he wants to reach down and help you be the best that you can be. It's
Wow.
really, to me, it's without being just, it's spiritual, it's familial, it's financial, about working to be the best version of yourself and creating financial freedom and watching others who have struggled and then watching their successes. And you go, wow, how can I do that? And then they come back and say, there are no secrets. So let me help you. And maybe the way I did it might work for you, or maybe it doesn't. But either way, the coaching community is a family that is all there to help each other succeed. So that way we can all wear that badge of the coaching family that says, you're one too, you're pretty special. And that's how deep it really goes in me. And I don't mean to be the rah-rah, but it took me a long time to realize that coaching is more than just yelling and pushing and do this and make this 100 calls a day. And this, if not, you're a loser. And look at these guys. How come you're not like them? And if you want to make more, then you got to pay more. It's about, hey, what can we all do together to help each other? And how can we build this community of like-minded, loving professionals? And how can we all be the best version? Because if I'm great and Johnny down in Nashville and Eric in Oklahoma City, if they're doing well, then everybody else can go, hey, then maybe I can do well too. Because although we know seeing is believing, but most importantly, as we know, believing is seeing. And we believe that together we can operate on all the cylinders, not just one. Life is more than just one thing, and that's the right coaching community, much like for what you guys have, is more. There's more than one spoke to a wheel. Without
Paul, are you here? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hearing it, JA, and that's the thing I think that is missed so often. When you think of coaching, you think of it being one dimensional. You think of it as, okay, we're going to show up, and this is what the coach tells the student to do in order to be successful in business. There is a component of discussing the path. It's not going to be cookie cutter. It is not a one size fits all. But I think what is so often missed, that if you're in business, but you've got something personal going on, let's say that there's a relationship that's struggling. Let's say that there's finances that are really impacting one's mindset, or just really another medical issue, a health issue that's causing some distraction. It's almost as if that is taboo in a lot of coaching relationships, but that's not it. We're not fragmented people. And so when you start talking about the relational side of a coaching relationship, now all of that gets brought in. And now it becomes fair game for the coach and the student to navigate not just one, but all of those pieces in order to get back to the right place, to get through it. Not around it, not over it, but through it. Because at the end of the day, we all have to face it. We all have to deal with our challenges. And what I love about what you said is, when you do that with family, or a family-like atmosphere, how much more powerful is that community going to rally around you as you go through those struggles to get back on solid footing and moving forward again? That's what I mean. That's just gold there, Dante.
Thank you. And it's so true, is that energy is what we all live on. And if there's something going on over here, remember, we do mortgages and real estate. We are dealing with people's biggest investments of their lives traditionally, and they're scared, they're nervous. And if you've got something going on, such as a challenge financially, or a challenge with your family, a good coach can help you compartmentalize so that you can focus here while all this noise is going on back here. And that's the beauty of the proper coaching, is that you can't just say, check your emotions at the door, you're a robot, deal with it. No, in this industry, if you're going to be great, you are dealing with emotions. And sometimes those emotions that are coming to you trigger the emotions that you're dealing with. So it's really important that we understand how to, kind of just take that deep breath, take a moment, and make sure that Your challenges are going to be here. You're going to get to them. But right now, this is about you. And people think that's robotic. It's not. It's life. It's the same thing when you're dealing with raising your children. Your stuff has to wait just a moment, because if not, your beautiful children are going to feel your negative energy. And then they're going to get that, because energy attracts energy. So the right coaching understands that spiritual, familial, personal relationships, financial challenges, and business all coincide 24/7.
Yep.
7 days a
Yeah.
week. And
Yeah.
the great coaches will help you understand how to deal with these and focus on your vision, so that way you're not getting stuck in the mud.
You know what? And that's so critical in today's world, right? I mean, because as this podcast is happening, it's very timely, because a lot of people have asked Paul and myself, why you guys starting this coaching business at such a tough time in the industry. But honestly, it goes way again beyond the vocational side of it. Because Dante, we know how tough it is out there right now. It's different. It's different than 2008 even. But has coaching helped you through this whole process, through this whole lifetime that we're in right now? What thoughts?
Well, of course, we don't want to tear up, because times are a challenge right now, and life is real. But in reality, coaching has helped me when I needed it most. And that was when I was starting this company. And before I started this company, coaching helped me understand that now was the right time for me to start this company 5 years ago. Coaching also helped me when business was so crazy that you had to be a fool to even think about needing a coach, because you've got so much business. So who needs a coach? I can tell you that coaching is always needed, because when business was at our busiest and we were killing it, coaching was so important, because it allowed me to remember to breathe. Coaching also reminded me that I had a family at home that wasn't as focused on, me being gone 14 hours a day just so I could bring home money so we could go to Disney. Family is also important, that they want you there. It also helped me to remember to go home and realize that with the proper communication systems in place, I could go home and they would be there for me tomorrow. Improper coaching says, just do it, you'll sleep when you're dead. That's how it was in the beginning. So coaching not only helped me realize my self-worth and how good I could, if having a community that believed in me to start the company in a time where everybody else said, no, I'm going to work for the big banks. It also helped me when I was the busiest I ever was. And yet it also allowed me to go home and put head to pillow and know that I did everything I could, and tomorrow we're going to get to it again. And now, when times are so challenged, I have a team here. I have my family here. This is what we do. And times are challenged. I'm not embarrassed to say, oh my gosh, this is a tough time. But what coaching has helped me understand is that tough times make tough people. And we will get through this. And coaching has helped me take the ship while we're quiet and the wind is silent. We're putting everything, getting the ship ready, making sure everything is balanced. And when that wind does pick up, we're going to be in the right direction. Everybody is going to be ready, as opposed to not coaching, where it's like, let's keep all the sharp objects away. And let's just worry, because worrying cures everything, but coaching has taught me, with faith, there is no fear. With hope, there is no worry. And it helped me to realize that sometimes when I'm going down that rabbit hole, I remember my coaching techniques. I also can reach out to my coaching community and say, hey, Johnny, how's things going with you, man? Hey, I need a little love right now, and so coaching has been the most important to me at every aspect in my life for the last 6 years. And what's awesome is that my wife sees that. She reminds me, when she sees me getting into the red, she reminds me to go onto our coaching website and watch one of the videos, or to breathe. Don't forget what you're supposed to do. My children are a part of the coaching community as well, and they have nothing to do with mortgages, but they understand that it doesn't have to be about mortgages to have the right life coaches. So
You know, yeah, you know
I
what's
hope that helps.
amazing? Yeah, you know what's amazing, Dante and Paul, I want to just turn to you for just a sec too. What's amazing is that we started talking about coaching. We started talking about a coach. We started to talk about the fact that you have a coach. But the more and more you're talking, the more and more it has become a collaborative community. It's become a community. You're talking about your family, mixing it with a community that you call coaching. So this is not just about that one coach. Paul, with Latreia, you and I talked about. I mean, this is so cool to see it. But do you think that collaboration is something that we talked about in the community and everything else, Paul? What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, um, I love reading wisdom literature, right? And we don't lack it, especially with just some of the resources that we have. But there's also a beautiful proverb that just talks about in a community of counselors, there's wise planning, there's surety of your steps, and when you've got wise people surrounding you that are feeding into your life, you're going to make the right decisions. You're going to make the smart decisions. But Dante, I'm going to rewind for just a second. I loved your analogy of the ship. And this is the second time I've heard you talk about it, where in this period of time when there's not a lot of wind that's driving the ship, right? But it's getting prepared for when the winds come back. And I love that imagery because when you think about cleaning up some of the parts of your business, when it talks about organizing it, when it talks about maybe putting back in some systems that may have gotten a little bit rusty, shoring up on your relationship skills, your networking, polishing up on some relationships that may have fallen by the wayside and getting back in contact and not trying to get something from someone. It's just about building the friendship. It's about expressing care. It's about expressing support and mutual encouragement for people that are facing the very same thing. And when you're ready, you've got your ship pointed in the right direction. You've got your sails at the right angle, and you're ready for when that wind hits. Guess what? Your sails are going to fill and your ship's going to start moving again. That's not the time when you're underway to go back and start cleaning everything up. Now is the time. And having that focus and having someone help you bring that kind of clarity back into your business is what is so powerful about what you were saying.
Couldn't be more true, because the one thing that, we always like to say is you don't plant the seeds when you're hungry. And that is traditionally the way in which we do. So like right now, we are working more hours than we ever have, even though we have less business than we've ever had. But we're not going home early. We're staying later. Because now is the time, because this next cycle, and I've been doing this 30 years, as you guys have too, and we've only been through 20 of them, 25 cycles. This next one is the one where millionaires will be created and retirees will be made. And I'm hoping a little bit of both. But in reality, we always think, oh, I'm hungry, now I should go shopping. No, we should go shopping when we're not hungry. Otherwise, you go, oh my God, I'm going to get, and you make poor decisions. So the one blessing that I have is with my coaching, as we've been talking about this. And we didn't see it coming this fast, that it was going to drop off, but we did know. And we did prepare for this, but we didn't prepare that it was going to last this long. But the nice thing is when things are bad for a long time, then traditionally they're going to be good for an even longer time. And we're doing everything we can to, of course, stay in the green, stay positive, realizing that the future is bright. We just have to understand that now's the time to do the work. Let's get in, let's be ready. Let's make sure all of our systems are in place. Let's get our mind right. Let's make sure we've got those systems, because when it does happen, are you ready to go from 0 to 60 in 1.2 seconds? Because that's what's going to happen when these rates drop or this inventory increases. Do you have your systems in place? And if you don't, will you be able to be the best version and serve at the highest level that you've wanted to, that you promised yourself you would if things got busy again this time for sure? Are you ready? And that's, you guys couldn't be in a better place right now.
Yeah, Dante, you know what? So right on. Put the work in now. And you challenged both Paul and I with a statement yesterday. And you said, practice makes, right? So everyone that's listening, if you heard that quote, practice makes what, right? Blank. Of course, Paul and I both said practice makes, like everybody talks about, perfect. But you actually brought a whole different perspective to that because you said practice makes what, Dante?
Permanent.
Permanent.
And what a wonderful, I remember when I got slapped in the face, that was through my Dale Carnegie coaching family. And of course, the entire room who thinks they're the smartest people in the world. Most people don't want to be there until about week 6 or 7 when they have the transformation, but everyone's there because their bosses made them go there for leadership and all that. But it was always, and I remember my instructor said, practice makes, and I was like, perfect. And I mean, the room just erupted. It's like, yeah, we're so smart. And he's like, nope, practice makes permanent. We all went, what? And then, like we talked about yesterday, I'm a terrible golfer, and all the practice in the world is not going to make me a perfect golfer. However, with the right coach and practicing the proper way over and over again, practice might make closer to perfect, but the wrong practice will never make you perfect unless, of course, you're God. Sorry, don't know if you need to censor that. But in reality, I've learned practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And with the right coaching and the right ideals and the right amount of work, that permanent can be really dang good. And that's what we're working on each and every day, to practice the right things so we can create the greatest client experience, no exceptions, every time. And it takes over and over, and it takes mistakes, and it takes going, oh my God, what did we do wrong? Let's take it a step back. And then that's when I'll reach out to my coaches and go, you know what? I'm missing something here. And then they come back. Because no matter what you get, no matter what level you're at, 1, 2, 3, 4, bronze, gold, silver, but everybody needs a coach, and everybody needs to get better. LeBron, if you're a hater, do whatever, but you can't argue. Michael Jordan, the greatest, Tom Brady, nutrition coach, throwing coaches, running coaches. Once again, if you think you don't need a coach, then congratulations, you are the best, and you probably don't need to listen to this podcast.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tiger Woods was known to have up to 7 coaches at any given time, just different parts of his game. So coaching really does. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, permanence. And then a very, very good friend of Paul's and I, a guy by the name of Steve Stahl, actually added to what you said. And he said this. He said, don't take the word perfect out of it, but put it in front of it. Perfect practice makes permanent, right? And so, because so practice is never makes you perfect, so to speak, right? I mean, we all know that because these people that you just mentioned, they lose all the time. All the time. So perfection is not necessarily the goal. So with that, it's really, as we're coming to a close, and man, it just flies by, right? Time just flies by when you're talking like this. And I hope this has made a huge difference for some of you that's even beginning to think about that. And Dante is not somebody that coaches with Latreia, but I so appreciate what he has to bring to the table when it comes to coaching, especially because the mentality is the same, the focus is the same. But there's this conversation that we had yesterday, Paul and Dante. We talked about the cost versus investment because there's an awful lot. I mean, we're making the phone calls right now. We're just like you, Dante. We've never worked so hard ever. I'm so glad we're doing it for our own business. But as we're making those phone calls, there is a difference between cost and investment. Can you give us a little bit of your perspective on really what that means? Is it a cost thing? Is it an investment thing? Is it worth it?
Yeah. So the first thing is it's a mindset thing. It's got to be a mindset because cost and investment, either way, the credit card companies, the cash company, the banks, it's the same debit. So it's got to be a mindset thing of saying, oh my God, I can't afford that right now. The one thing I'll always say is by you making that statement means that you cannot not afford that. If you can't afford to invest in your business when you know that you want your business to get better and you want your mindset to be better. As you had stated, some of the greatest athletes in the world lose so many times, but because their mindset is strong and their vision is on the ring, they get back up. And that's why they invest in coaches. So I like to think that this is an investment in your life. We know that when you buy a suit, you write it off to the IRS and say it's an investment in my work. Same thing with the coaching. Coaching is an investment. It's an investment in your business, and it's an investment in you. And by you being the best version of yourself, what you're going to realize, it's a benefit for everyone that you lead, for everyone you work with, for all the clients that you serve, and most importantly, for the family that supports you and is there to hug you when you get home, or to get yelled at because you had the bad day. So in reality, being the best version of yourself, there is no monetary number to be placed on it, although we have to, because everybody has to get paid. It's just everybody has to. Money may be the root of all evil, but it's necessary because that's the life and that's the beautiful freedom of this country that we live in. We can have things if we work hard enough to be able to afford these. So I look at this as it's an investment. It'll feel like a cost until you realize the benefit that it's having on everybody. Sometimes you don't even realize it, but then all of a sudden people go, wow, I really love your energy. Hey, my God, you must be killing it. Or this, and you go, wow, that's the investment part. The cost is up here, but the investment is right here, because of the fact that you're becoming the best version of yourself, which is allowing everybody around you to see that. And your family will be proud and your family will be happy and your bosses will benefit monetarily, and your community that you serve and the charities and everything, they're all going to benefit. So a lot of times you're investing in you and everybody else is benefiting it, but you'll feel so much better when you're cashing those checks or giving a hug or having people call you and say, wow, so-and-so told me to call you. Like, I don't even know so-and-so.
Yeah, that's so consistent to what you said yesterday, by the way, that the cost of not doing coaching is really the difference between transactional relationships
Thank you.
and familial relationships. And you said that so eloquently yesterday.
I apologize. We were supposed to record that yesterday.
Yeah, it was. Yes, we are. It was evidently clear that there's a huge difference between just being trained in your business, just knowing your business and trying to run with your business accordingly, at the cost of not doing coaching. The difference is that it's not just about the transaction, it's about the family, right?
Your family sees that. And once again, I thank you for reminding me that. But transactional is easy. You just churn and burn. But familial, that's when your children get to witness you in the community. That's when your spouse or your significant other or your friends get to go, I know that guy. And they're like, oh my God, that's familial. When somebody comes up to you and hugs you for getting them into debt for the next 30 years, for charging them for a service that they see that you actually cared, you put forth the work, and they understand that. Transactional is whatever, as soon as we're closed, I don't care. But familial is the greatest benefit to what I do. When people thank me, when they hug me, I have a closing in just a couple hours, and we're thankful for every one of them. But I'll guarantee that I've never met this guy, but we will be hugging it out at closing, because you share people's greatest fears. You share with them their finances. You know everything about them, just in real estate and mortgages. Transactional, you don't go to the closing. Familiar, you do. You hug it out, and then they're referring people to you because they want their friends and family to have the same wonderful experience in a traditional industry that doesn't have good experience. They're sharing your name because they want people to go through exactly what they just went through. And my friend, that is because of coaching. I never learned that so true until I invested in myself 6 years ago with my coaching family.
I couldn't end it better than that. I mean, honestly, what an incredible half an hour, 40 minutes that we've been able to spend together. We could be here forever as far as that's concerned, because there's an awful lot of people right now. I mean, Paul, I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at 6 months ago, and even further than that, that you and I started to discuss really what the difference is between what we're currently doing at that time to what we want to be doing and what we feel like we've been called to do. And was this just the greatest little interview coming off to start us off? I mean, Paul, I don't know about you, but I feel, I don't know, I just feel great. And Dante brought so much. Paul, what say you?
I love the idea of growing your family rather than your book of business. Book of business is sterile, it's cold, it reduces people to low numbers and units. When you're talking about growing your family, now all of a sudden, guess what? They're family for life. That's the difference. And that mindset is just not going to come natural when you're a lone wolf in this industry. When you're out there trying to make it happen and you've got, these ideas and these metrics and these goals that you're trying to hit, people are going to feel like a number, and that's not what's going to create clients for life. And so, Dante, thank you so much for just repackaging that idea of being part of your family. That's the difference between being transactional and this being transformational. Coaching is transformational. It means that it sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Any parting words, Dante? I want to ask you any parting words for everyone?
So first of all, I hope I make the cut, and the first one isn't with somebody different. So I hope I made it through. So cool. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to serve you. But if I could just give one piece and say something I learned early. Mindset is not something you own. It's something you rent, and the rent is due daily. So if I can give one piece, remember that. And instead of saying how many loans am I going to close this month, how many families am I going to serve? And the moment you change it to served as opposed to closed, your mind goes into action in a servant mentality, and your life will get better. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much. And I look forward to podcast number 100. Maybe I can make a surprise guest appearance.
Absolutely.
Yep.
My goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Dante. And what an incredible half hour to 40 minutes again, like I said. And I can't thank you enough. I know people are affected based on what you just shared. And I got to tell you, you're off the hot seat. So, because we were kind of on the hot seat with you, because we've never done this before. And guess what? It wasn't really about us as much as it is for the people that are listening. I hope it's made a big difference for you guys. It absolutely was our pleasure to be able to introduce coaching to you. And whether or not you end up working with Latreia and other companies, I truly believe that all of us need to have someone that's either a mentor to us, a coach to us, but somebody that actually, and you said it yesterday, that somebody actually cares enough about you to challenge you on a daily basis. Yep. And that's really what it comes down to, guys. So give us an opportunity at Latreia, and we'd love to make a difference in your life as well. Paul, what an incredible morning already.
Awesome. Great. Thank you again, Dante.
God bless you guys. I wish you great success. There's no doubt there are so many people that are going to have their lives changed for the better because of you two. And I'm glad to be a part of this. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Take care, you guys. And we'll catch you on episode 2. Bye, everyone.